Hey Springfield, I'm Dominique Gabriella, and I am here with Ben Collins for Behind the Scene. Thank you for joining us. So, how long have you been playing music?
Well, I was in choir in church when I was really young, so like 16, 17 years.
Oh wow! And how long have you been here in Springfield?
About three. We're at three and a half, working on 4.
So where are you from originally?
Louisiana.
Louisiana. What part of Louisiana?
Like northeast, like Monroe.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, kind of close to Jackson, Mississippi, like an hour and a half from there. So.
Oh wow.
In that kind of Mississippi Delta area down there in the south, yeah.
So, did you play music down there, I assume, then?
A little bit. Never in the capacity that I have in Springfield. I just didn't have the opportunity, and I didn't, I didn't have I wasn't really old enough. I was, mostly a teenager when I was living in Monroe. I left my house when I was 16, so I didn't really have a chance to, grow any kind of music, network in Monroe.
How did you get into the music?
Well, I was traveling, and music was the only way I could make money.
Oh wow!
I didn't have any marketable skills other than music, so that's what I did.
Oh, okay. Who are some of your influences?
I don't know. That's kind of hard to say. I like Townes Van Zandt and Woody Guthrie. Those guys. Those guys have really inspired me. So far as when I first started writing, my biggest influences were like the Ed Sheerans and John Mayers and those kind of guys. I kind of had that, whole fame wanderlust, which I, realized is, not obtainable for everyone. So I kind of started looking more for people who music I related to, and that's when I kind of fell into the whole folk and, Americana kind of wavelength with my writing and the music that I listened to.
Mm-hmm. Now, with your writing, what kind of songs do you kind of stick with, do you feel?
Most of my music is a mix of love and travel. Mm-hmm. And because those were the two of the biggest, factors that have affected my life has been, the relationships I formed and the places I've been. Mm-hmm. Which, with the first song I played, that's pretty heavily, it's obvious, because that song in particular was is steeped in that kind of stuff.
So in your travels, what's the most interesting place that you've ever played or played for?
Ooh, well, I don't necessarily. Taos, New Mexico was pretty cool. I played on the street out there, and I played a couple of open mics. So far as interesting, I don't know. Everywhere was interesting because it was all so new. I didn't really go anywhere when I was a kid, so I had no measuring stick to say what's interesting or not.
Right.
But the coolest place I thought was Taos, New Mexico, because it's like a tiny little hippie town in the middle of nowhere in the desert, and it was pretty cool. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that sticks out to you. And
It was super artsy too.
Uh-huh.
If you ever get the chance to visit Taos, New Mexico, there's all kinds of like galleries and that kind of stuff. The whole town's based on the art sales industry.
Oh, I love that. I love that kind of community.
It's super cool. They're very close knit.
I love that. So what brought you here to Springfield?
Just traveling. I went back to Louisiana for a little bit, and things were working out for me there. And I came up here because I have some family up here that I wanted to visit. And I don't know. I just stuck around. I applied for a couple of jobs, and work was just easy to find, and then I kind of fell into the music. Into the kind of music side of Springfield that I didn't know was so large when I got here. I had no clue that Springfield has the music scene that it does, and that's kind of what led me to stay, was the abundance of both work and opportunities musically here. So
that is amazing. Mm-hmm. What is the first place you played?
Just generally, or
here in Springfield.
Oh, okay. Well, the first place I played was an open mic over at the Flea.
Uh-huh.
I played one night there, and then I never went back to that open mic. I started playing at there was a place called Bits of Britain that was open for a little while.
Oh yes, I remember that place.
Yeah, it was over off of Boonville over there. And I played there for a little while. Yeah, it was the Flea. That's the first place I played in Springfield. Yeah, I love that place. It's pretty unique. I like it.
It is like flea market. So tell me a little bit about this first song that we're going to be listening to.
Well, so this song is about a girl that I met when I first moved to Springfield. So I moved up to Springfield actually, and I met this girl. I'm not gonna name her or anything, but she was very special to me, and I fell for her really hard, and we took off traveling again and landed in Nashville. And I started writing that song when I still was pretty emotionally involved with her. And I thought it was going to be a love song, and I thought it was going to be this deep, heartfelt thing, but then she just kind of, broke my heart and did a whole lot of stuff that I couldn't forgive. And so I just left her and came back to Springfield because there was nothing for me in Nashville. Nothing was panning out. It wasn't as, the music scene there is very, I don't know. They look for certain things, and I didn't have those certain things, and so there was nothing there for me, but just heartbreak. So I just left and came back to Springfield, and finished my song here. And that song that says that I'm going down to New Orleans. Well, I was supposed to, and I actually wrote that into the song because I was supposed to go down and play at a festival in New Orleans that summer, but the guy who booked me for it backed out everybody he had booked, so I wasn't able to go down there and do that. But yeah, that's what that means in that song, because I was just going to go to New Orleans and go play that festival. But,
oh wow! And what is it called again?
No Time.
No Time. So we're going to watch that and be right back.
She's got a heart like Louisiana. She's got a soul like Tennessee. She had her eyes on Colorado. Ain't no Rocky Mountain high gonna take my girl from me. She had a mind on the little things. She had a heart on so much more. I knew from the start she could be my thing, but then she took me down the same old dirty roads I've been before. Maybe we can be better, darling, or maybe we'll always be fussing and fighting on. I love you, oh, but I've got no time for these petty things. So I'm headed down to New Orleans. Know that you'll always be in my heart, sweet darling. Be in every song I write, and every single dream I dream.
Well, that was a really great song. I really like that. I love your writing style. And can you tell me how, your processing? How do you write? How do you come up with? Is it easy to come up with songs for you?
Not really. That song in particular took me a long time to write, just because I didn't know how to finish it. I mean, like I said, I started it as a super emotional kind of a ballad, and then she just ripped my heart into pieces. So I had no clue. I had no clue where to go with it. So I was lost for a while.
Yeah.
And then I finished it with some stuff that rhymed and sounded good. So that's what I went with. Some songs are easier than others. It really depends on what it's about. If it's something that I'm really emotionally connected to, then it doesn't take me any time at all. Mm-hmm. But if I'm trying to be like, I guess, more conceptual with what I'm writing, it can be more difficult. Mm-hmm. But so it really just depends on the song and what I'm trying to do with the song.
Oh, okay. So do you have any advice for other writers? Some people that are just starting.
I don't know, write how you feel and make it rhyme. That's how I started writing music.
Mm-hmm. That's good
advice. About as simple as I can make it.
Yeah.
And don't worry about being relatable. If you feel the way you feel, somebody else will too.
That's true. That is so true. So back with your travels, what makes Springfield different with the music scene?
There's just so many different aspects. I mean, a lot of places that have a music scene, are looking for one thing in particular. And in Springfield, if you have any talent, then you have a chance here, and I like that. As opposed to like LA. It's all about rap and pop, or Brooklyn is strictly hip hop and that kind of stuff. When you're in somewhere like Springfield, not that Springfield is just this huge music mecca, at least not one that anyone knows about. It's there's so much variety that everybody has a place where they can fit in and belong. It's just more about finding that than it is about hoping you get lucky or anything like that. So, mm-hmm. And that's what I like about it, really.
What kind of other differences do you think, like the downtown here versus the downtown area in Louisiana that you used to?
Well, most downtowns in Louisiana are wastelands.
Really?
Yeah. Other than New Orleans and the bigger cities, there's nothing going on in downtown. I mean, there's probably a post office and a bank. And
so this was completely different.
Oh yeah, when I started traveling, I didn't realize when I was a kid that most cities downtowns were pretty busy. I didn't understand that until I started traveling. And then you come to Springfield and there's people downtown, from the time the first business opens to the time the last one closes. So, and that was pretty cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And of course, living downtown, you experience more of that, and it's a big difference from where I grew up for sure.
What are some of your favorite places to frequent in Springfield for the bar scene, or the venue scene, not the bar scene, the venue?
I don't frequent a lot of them. I guess I guess the Shuffle is somewhere I go a lot, and the Odyssey, I like to go to their open mic, but that's just because it's right down the street from my house.
Right. They have a good one.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. They've done a great job the way they set that up. And the venue's beautiful. So far as like actual venues I frequent, that's about it. I don't really get out much. Like I work third shift, so I don't really have a lot of
ability to go.
Yeah, I don't have a social life per se.
Doing stuff. Yeah. Have you played out much yet around?
A little bit. I played a few gigs. Back when I was working at Bits of Britain, I was opening a lot for bands that would come through there that didn't have an opener. Uh-huh. I played a couple of shows in Dublin's Pass, and one over at the Dugout as well. I played a show with Sold in Seattle and Acting on Impulse, which is one of my favorite shows over at Moon City Pub. They're just before COVID hit and they started shutting down for all that. So.
Oh yeah. That's what did you do during that off time? Did you create more music? Or?
No. I caught up on all this stuff on Netflix.
Did you end up seeing the open mics that they were doing online?
No, I actually didn't. And I thought about taking a part of that, but I just was never proactive enough to get my name into those, into the proper ears to do something like that. And not that I was against it, I just honestly didn't know how and didn't take the time to figure out how. So.
Yeah, you're like, just not in it. I get it. It was affecting everybody differently.
Yeah.
I'm not creative right now.
Yeah.
I have too much time on my hands.
The world is ending. Music is pointless. So, yeah.
What is some of your favorite memories of just living here, and just being part of the scene?
Oh man, I don't know. Just having friends for the first time to have like an actual nightlife with, because I never really I was traveling a lot, so I never really had any like long-term friends until I got here, and I've actually been able to like do the thing where you go out to the bar with your friends and get too drunk to go home, and so you just stumble around downtown for a while and end up back at your house, which was a first for me. So which was fun, which is something I've enjoyed. So.
Oh, well, cool. Let's get to your next song. What are we going to be listening to now?
This one is called, I don't really have a title for it, but so far I'm just going with Untitled Blues.
Untitled Blues. Okay, so we're going to listen to that and be right back. Another great song. So I hear that you have street performed, I'm sure, because of traveling and everything. Now, how do you feel about that? I mean, is it hard or?
It's easy now.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was younger, I had a lot of stage fright, and performing on the street is an entirely different beast from being in a bar up on stage. Because when you're on the street, 9 out of 10 people don't know who you are and don't really care who you are.
Right.
And I like it because I can. It's because of that I feel more empowered. Knowing that they don't care who I am. And so I can play whatever I want and sound however I want, and the people that like it are going to stop and listen. And that's one of the biggest things I liked about it. And it's what gave me the confidence to start actually trying to play on stage in places and that kind of thing. So, and honestly, it's what made me feel comfortable to start playing my original music. Because for a long time, I didn't play my original music live. I played strictly covers just because I was so self-conscious about my writing and how it sounded compared to the covers I played. So that's but I love playing on the street, and it's something I never plan on stopping, no matter where my career takes me. So,
do you play on the street here?
Yeah, I play on South Street. Usually in the summer, I'm on South Street at least once a weekend. I try to do Friday or Saturday every weekend.
Right.
Night from like 6 to whenever I feel like going home. Sometimes that's 10. Sometimes it's like 2 in the morning. And then every now and then I'll go out on Commercial Street. When I get a honey for 2, I'll go down there. If there's like a big event, there's some shop owners who have asked me to come and stand out in front of the. It's across the street from Big Mama's. It's like some guy stores all of his antiques on display across the street there, and They like. No,
I
there's some
think
people
that might be
who like to play
MJ's.
it.
I don't remember.
It's not MJ's.
Oh.
It's that's right sort of next door to where I am.
Okay.
Actually, one of his family came out and spoke to me about it, and they said that it's just I guess their dad or something. I'm not really sure. I don't remember exactly, but they said that he just stores a lot of his old stuff there, and they like my music. I mean, they've tipped me before.
Cool.
They're cool. It's cool. Yeah.
That is really
C
cool.
Street's really embraced me being down there, which I like.
Oh yeah, I love C Street.
Mm-hmm. I love that part of the city too. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot different than a different feel than downtown.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Completely second downtown from back in the day.
Yeah.
So what kind of experiences have you had negatively with, being part of, not just here, just anywhere, musically?
I don't know. There's not a lot I can say negatively.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it kind of sucks when you're in a place like Nashville or LA, and every musician there is extremely talented, and
Mm-hmm.
you're just a drop in the ocean. It kind of feels hopeless when you're in that situation. But I mean, even then, there's I've never been hungry, so I never really.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of anything super negative to be associated
Well, that's cool.
with playing music for me. Yeah.
It's always been positive. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Music does that to me too. Do you feel like there's anything that you wish Springfield had that other places had? Or do you think it's just...
An open container on South Street.
A lot of people have actually talked about that they need to block off a section.
Yeah,
and
just from
leave it alone for...
Just from Walnut to the Square.
Yeah, for a certain part of the night, and that's...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard about that too.
Mm-hmm.
But then you don't think there's anything else different things that you picked up on other music areas?
Well, there could be more variety,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like the people who frequent South Street could embrace C Street a little bit more, just because anything you can find on South Street other than like the dance clubs, you won't find a dance club on C Street. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's there's every bit of the opportunity to have a nightlife on C Street as there is on South Street, and most of the places that have embraced that idea, like the Second Strip, have seen a lot of success. Like Nashville, they had before Broadway was even really big. They had Second Street, and Second Street is still thriving just as much as it was back in the day. But
Mm-hmm.
Broadway has all the big big country star-owned bars and stuff, and that's why it's the street you hear about in Nashville. But I think that would be a good thing for Springfield, the music industry in Springfield to do. But other than that, there's really not a lot. I mean.
You're very content here.
I
You love it here.
I love living here for a reason.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Well, I definitely hope to see you out and about more often because your music is beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate
And hopefully this summer, things get somewhat back to normal.
Yeah.
And you could get on the square when they perform too.
Mm-hmm.
So if people want to book you, where would they go? Where would they find you on the internet?
They can go to Ben Collins Music, my page on Facebook. Just message me there, and I will gladly play.
Gladly play. Now, let's finish it off with your last song. Tell me a little bit about that.
So that's the song I wrote for. Are you speaking in reference to the second song or
The
the
last
last
song.
song?
The last.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wrote that song for my wife when I was like after our third date. I loved her so much, and I didn't know how to tell her that, so I wrote that song, and funnily enough, I never played it for her until like 3 days, till the rounds over there at the Odyssey, and I mentioned it to the crowd and told her, and I sang it then. That was the first time I've ever played it for anyone other than myself.
Oh my God.
And
Jeez.
she was mad at me because she doesn't like when I dedicate songs to her on stage because she gets embarrassed. But
that's so sweet though. Okay.
That song's about it's just about how I felt about her at the time, you know, and I still feel that way, and I just, I don't know, gonna get all mushy.
I'm sure she's wonderful. Yeah.
She really is.
Yeah.
She really is. You know, and it's
Very supportive.
It's just about how
yeah.
dedicated I am, and I'm not. You know, there's a lot. I know there's a lot. She's got a lot of reasons to worry about me and what I'm gonna do with my life, and I understand that. You know, but I just, you know, really that song is just me letting her know that she doesn't have to worry about any of that.
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
so.
How just wow. And what is it called?
It's ABC Don't Say Love.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for being a part of the show, and hopefully you have a show coming up.
I do actually.
Oh, you do. Okay.
On the 20th of February.
20th of February.
At Dublin's Pass.
Dublin's Pass, guys. 20th of February.
No
Dublin's
cover.
Pass. Hopefully this is out before then, but it might not be. If you miss it, do you have another one after that one?
I don't know. I might be playing Bash in the Grass this year.
Bash in the Grass. Yeah, guys, look on our page for information on that because we have the event link and see this guy. So thank you again, and we're gonna have his last song play us out. Until next time, bye.
To my beat, all I can see, she's got her demons, those evil freaks. We get hard to the skin and town, and most of my life only by her side. Well, people tell me I took a list in my time, but this life of love's got me feeling alright. Girl, I know it's hard for you to see. Since that third night, all I've done was believe. So don't say love, don't say love, don't say love if you don't mean it. I'll be there by your side, hold your hand through the night if you need it. I'll be there through the storm, hold your